Welcome back. Are you ready to create your very first course, but you're not quite sure how to get started with all the tech that's out there? Where do you host it? How do you create it? How do you put it together? If those are your questions, then you're gonna love this video. Today, I'm gonna be sharing with you exactly how to get started hosting your very first online course. There are 4 simple steps when you're ready to launch your very first online course to make sure that it's successful. Step 1 is to make sure it will sell. A lot of people get started, they create a course, they go through this entire process and do all of the work and then launch their course only to realize that no one's buying. And I want to make sure that you don't fall into that same trap. So I want to help you with this first step. The way that I make sure that each and every single one of my courses will sell before I actually create that course is to do what I call pre-selling. Pre-selling involves asking people if they actually want the course that you're creating, doing the co-creation process with them. Usually I do this with like a survey or asking, what they'd like to learn. And then finally, actually making sales and opening the cart and asking for that sale before you actually create the course. This will save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of frustration, and it will make sure that the course that you're creating is exactly what your ideal client wants because they've had the opportunity to co-create with you. So that's step 1. Step 2 is get lots of attention. Now, when I say get lots of attention, I'm typically referring to what I call a content blitz. A content blitz is where you're talking about nothing else but your specific topic, the topic that you're going to be sharing inside of your course. You're talking about nothing else for a concentrated period of time. Usually when I do a content blitz, it lasts anywhere from 7 to 14 days. And I'm essentially hammering this topic. I'm talking about it on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, all of my social media platforms via email. It's consuming everything. I'll talk about it inside of my Facebook group. Everything that I'm talking about is all centered on this one topic. As an example, I recently launched a YouTube strategies masterclass where I talk a lot more about my YouTube process and how I create content to help me sell my courses, how I get more subscribers, and how I get email subscribers as well as YouTube subscribers. And when I first started creating this course and this masterclass, the first thing that I did was I pre-sold. Obviously, I did that research and I actually made sales before I even went live on day 1 to create the content. But the second thing that I did was I did the step 2, which is get lots of attention. And inside of my Facebook group, the only thing that I was doing was talking about YouTube. I was asking questions about, what type of YouTube channels do you subscribe to? Fun questions like, when was the last time you clicked on an ad? Other questions like, what's stopping you from or preventing you from getting started with YouTube? So everything was YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Whatever topic you're talking about inside of your course, your content blitz should be centered around that topic. And I have a very specific strategy that I use for my content blitz, but it really, really boils down to talking about your topic wherever you're talking about it, wherever you are sharing with your audience, any of your broadcast channels. That's what you should be talking about for that concentrated period of time before you open the doors. Step 3 is tech, testing, and ads. Now, this is a really large step, and it's one of those steps that it's unavoidable. You've got to make sure that you've got each of these pieces together. So I say first thing is tech, and that is making sure that you actually have a cart where people can make a purchase. So I like using a cart software called Thrivecart. I'll include the link inside of the description box for my partner link. But Thrivecart, as opposed to some of the other cart softwares that are out there, is a one-time fee right now. So you can get Thrivecart, you can start setting up all of your programs and products and all the things that you're going to sell inside of Thrivecart, and it'll allow you to accept payments from credit cards. You can accept PayPal payments. You can accept Apple Pay and Google Pay, which some of the other cart softwares don't allow you to do. It will also allow you to set a minimum number or maximum number of spots for some of your courses. So for example, when I sold the YouTube Strategies Masterclass, I had a maximum of 10 people that could get in at the lowest rate. And then once those 10 were gone, then the next rate came into effect. And this is a really, really good thing to do, especially when you're first selling your course and you want to make sure that people have a reason to jump in right away, you want to set some sort of urgency or scarcity. Now, I'm getting a little bit into the marketing, but before I get there, this is basically what I do. And I use ThriveCart in order to handle that. So you've got to have a cart software. You need to have a landing page or landing page software. If you're just getting started, I recommend that you use ClickFunnels, but you can also build landing pages on WordPress. I like using Thrive Themes in order to build my landing pages on WordPress. Or you can skip all of that and just have the cart software, and you can just take payments directly in the cart software, and that can be your landing page. So you've got a couple of options there. And then the final thing that you need is you need a software to deliver the content. Now, you can email your course when you're just getting started, make it like a simple email course, but email is easily forwarded from one person to the next. So you want to lock it behind a gateway, a member area. The member area that I really like and the one that I use is called Thinkific. And I will also leave my partner link in the description so that you can get started with Thinkific right away. They do have a free plan. They have a low cost plan. They have something that you can get started with right now so that you have no excuses to get your course out there. And the next piece is testing. So this is also part of step 3, which is testing. And that's just make sure everything works. The last thing that you want is for someone to actually come to the page, or they can't even get to the page because the link doesn't work. Or maybe they do go to the page and then they try to make the payment, and for some reason your cart software is not working, or for some reason like something else is just like anything could go wrong, especially when it comes to tech. So you want to test that entire process. I know with ThriveCart, they'll allow you to put in test mode, and they'll give you a credit card number that you can test it with, so you can make sure that the process is working. Make sure that those emails are going out. Make sure that they're getting tagged inside of your email service provider and that you know exactly who is making the purchase. This is super, super important to do. And then the next piece that you need for step 3 is ads. And I will say that this is one place where a lot of people get tripped up because they feel like they start seeing all of the success that other people are having, where someone might say, I made 70,000, or I made 6 figures with a course launch, or I've made $1 million with my courses. And they don't quite realize the expenses or the ads that are behind that course launch. So for example, very recently I sold over $7,000 worth of courses, and there was some expenses that came along with that. That included around $2,800 worth of expenses, including my tech stack, including ads that I use to bring people into those offers. So remember that those numbers and revenue numbers that you hear, they don't exist in a vacuum. You've got to keep that in mind. And when you're first starting out, the only thing you should focus on is just getting that one first sale. Now we can move into step 4, which is emails and launching. So emails are super, super important, and you've got to have a great email service provider. The email service provider that I use and recommend is called ConvertKit. I will also leave my partner link in the description box for that. ConvertKit handles all of my broadcast emails. Whenever someone makes a purchase, I can tag them inside of ConvertKit. That way, if I ever need to email to tell people, hey, there's a flash sale or there's, some promotion going on, I can exclude the people who have already purchased, and it makes it that much easier to segment your list and really only speak to the people who you want to specifically talk to. So I really like using ConvertKit for that. And then after that, it's just time to launch. So once you're ready to launch your course, you actually already have people who said that they're interested. You have your cart software set up, you turn it on and you open the doors and you allow people to come and make those first purchases. And as they come in, you set a date to start recording your content, to start putting your course together. Those people come in live and they get a chance to live launch with you. Essentially, they get a chance to be a part of the creation of the course. You create the course, you close the doors off and work with your clients inside of the course, make sure they're getting great results. And then once you're done with that, it's time to automate. So those are my 4 simple steps to creating your first online course. Now I know that there are probably a couple things that you already have questions on. Please leave those questions in the comments because I've got more videos coming on the topic of creating online courses. I will say for myself, especially me being an introvert and me being the type of person that I like recording pre-recorded videos. I really enjoy working with clients behind my computer. And the thing that I've realized is that I truly want a freedom lifestyle-based business, meaning that my business is moving 90% in the direction of selling online courses and on-demand programs. And then 10% of that, well, it'd be more like 80-20. So 80% will be courses and online programs. And then 20% is going to be like my retreat, one-on-one coaching programs, and my group coaching program, my monthly incubator, and things like that. So if that sounds like you and you feel like you really want a business that has some element of passive income, some element of income that comes in, whether you're awake or whether you're asleep or whether you are hanging out on the beach or whatever you're doing, and you really don't feel like doing sales calls or any of that stuff, then you're going to love the videos that are coming up. I'm going to start creating those videos. And so there will be a playlist inside of this video to help you get to that next level. Some upcoming videos I have are going to help you get started with Thinkific, give you my process for each of these steps, the online course process, also my reviews and different tools that I think you need in order to make sure you've got your course business going. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.